Okay, what I would like to do is find a new background for this animal. So we've got this giraffe here, and I want a new background for it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find something that works. Now, don't forget to go to Tools, and then Size, and then larger than 2MP. So make sure you do that. And then also, if I look at my giraffe here and I see where's the light coming from on this giraffe, and by the way, I did a really bad job of erasing around it because I just did it real quick. But so the light is coming from the left side to the right side. So you see that this light is sort of above and coming from this direction to this direction. And I want to find a picture that has the lighting on it similar. So if I come through here and I'm looking at these pictures, I can come to like this one right here, and I can tell by the shadow of this picture that the light is coming from this way to this way. So this is a good one to grab. So again, same as yesterday, Control, hold down Control, and then click, and then save image as. And I've already saved this one, so it's this nature wallpaper one. And you just hit save. And now I'm going to go to my Photoshop. And for this right here, I need to create a new layer. Now in Photoshop, layers are extremely important. And you want to, anything new that you do, you want to create a new layer for it. And if you look in the sort of the bottom right area right here, you can see that this is where your layers are. So right now, if you are doing something else, you need to be looking up here. So I want to create a new layer. There's a couple ways to do it. I can go layer and then new and then layer, or I can just go down here. You probably can't see it on the screen, but I'll just pull this up here. So right here, this one right next to the trash can, if you mouse over it, it says create a new layer. So if I create a new layer, and now it says layer 1. So I have this new layer, and I want to do the same thing I did yesterday. So I go to File, and then Place, and then you find that layer. This is that nature whatever wallpaper layer, and hit Place. And now I've got that one in here. And I'm going to resize this a little bit. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, holding down my Shift key. And then I'm going to hit either hit Return button, or I can hit this checkbox right here, one or the other. All right. So, but the problem right now is that this layer is on top of this giraffe layer. You can see right here. If you look right there, you can see that it's on top. So I want to make the giraffe layer on top of the background layer. So I just grab the giraffe layer and I move it up above this one. So you can just manually move it above there. And so that's how you create a new layer and then put something in that layer. And then you can always just move these layers around as to what's on top, what's below. You're eventually going to have like 5, 6, 10 different layers, whatever, and you can maneuver them around a little bit like that. All right, so this giraffe now, So I'm going to move this giraffe. You want to move stuff around. First of all, I have to be in this giraffe layer. If I go to my wallpaper layer, and then I go to my select tool right up here. By the way, this select tool just allows you to grab stuff and move it around. So if I try and move this around, I'm going to move around the background layer. And that's not what I want to do. So I need to be in the giraffe layer in order to move this giraffe around. If I want to resize the giraffe, remember, Command T, and that gives me this box again, and I can resize this giraffe, and then hit return, and I'm going to move this giraffe. So if I move this giraffe right here, and here's one trick for erasing stuff in a straight line. So I need everybody looking up here. So this right here, I want to get rid of this stuff below this line. So I can take my eraser and I can erase stuff like this, but you're going to get a curved surface. So instead I'm going to go to right here, this is the one just below the select tool, rectangular marquee tool. And I'm going to make a box and then just hit delete, and it'll delete everything inside that box. So that's just a nice trick to doing that. If I hit Command D, that will deselect. So that means that box goes away. If you have anything selected, meaning like those anything that's where those moving dots are going around, you're not going to be able to use any of your tools. So it's always a good idea to hit Command D to get rid of that if you've got it. Okay, so I've got my giraffe in this new place, and there's two tools that I want to go over today, and that's it. So this should take about another couple minutes. First one is the blur tool. It's the one that looks like a teardrop. So if you go into the blur tool, and you'll want to zoom way in, and notice that if I zoom way in here, and again you can see that I did a lousy job of erasing. Up here where it says strength, I'm at 50%. You can have it whatever strength you want. I'll bump it up to 100 so you can see a little better. With your blur tool, if you're taking something and you're putting it on top of something else, a lot of the time it looks fake because it just looks like you pasted one thing on top of the other. To make it blend in a little better, you can blur the edges of this. And I'll zoom way in so you can see what's going on here. Well, actually you can't see that well. Zoomed in that much. You're trying to just blur the edges, the outside edge of your animal, and you'll probably be able to see it on your screen. And what this does is it makes it blend into the background a little better. You're just blurring the edge just a little bit all the way around your image. And then when you zoom out, it's hard to tell just by looking at it, but your brain looks at it and says, okay, that looks like it's more natural in that setting. All right, so that's blur tool. The next thing is the burn dodge tool, and that one is right below the blur tool. If you click and hold on this and then let go, you'll get tools within tools here. So you've got dodge tool, burn tool, sponge tool. The dodge tool will make things lighter. The burn tool makes things darker. And the sponge tool sponges out all the color. So first we're going to go to the dodge tool. I don't really need to mess with the light too much on this, but if I did, I'll show you how this works. So like, let's just say that the light was coming from the other direction, and I needed to change the lighting. I need to make it so it looks like the sun is coming from this, hitting the giraffe on this side. So from my dodge tool, I can just click on here. You can see how that's getting a little bit lighter. And you can do that if you need to, if you want to change the way it looks with the sun and all that. You can do the opposite with the burn tool. Burn tool, it just makes things darker. So you can see here it's making this darker. So that's a little bit extreme for this example. But I did a good job of choosing a background that had the same light, the light coming from left to right. So it looks believable. in this picture because of the way the light is going in the background and this one. So you save yourself a lot of trouble. If you don't have that, then you can use the burn dodge tool to add light to your subject, or add darkness, add shadow to your subject. And so for today, that's it. So you made a new layer, you added the background to it. You can move these layers around by just grabbing them and moving them. And we went over the blur tool and the burn and dodge tool today. So that's it for today.